Thank you, both of you. All right, you know, you guys, when you get that beat going, it's okay to clap. It's because it's church, doesn't mean All right, so staying open. My inspiration today, which is actually my inspiration often, as Ross reminded me, I really love to quote Shunryu Suzuki when he talks about beginner's mind. He is a Zen Buddhist. And I love this teaching. I love the Eastern philosophies so much because they are about ease and simplicity. They are not overly complicated by and large. And so Shunryu Suzuki has this quote, and I'm going to give the larger quote. He says, if your mind is empty, it is ready for anything, and it is open to everything. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. Okay, now I'm going to elaborate just a little bit, so don't freak out, because sometimes that can sound almost like it's telling you not to be smart. Right? But that's not the idea, though. So if your mind is empty, there's another Buddhist teaching that has you imagining a beautiful saucer and a teacup. And if it's already full of something, you cannot put anything else in it. So this is what we're talking about by emptiness, meaning the usefulness of the emptiness. If it's already full, nothing can get in. So we need to drink up that delicious tea so we can add more. So it's different than just being empty, like brainless or mindless. If your mind is empty, it is always ready for anything and open to everything. Linda McNamara, my predecessor, often would say this when she forgot things. Maybe she still does. When she would forget things, sometimes she'd say, well, when you have an open mind, things fall out. It's kind of like that. That was her way of saying, oops, I forgot. When you have an open mind, things fall out. We're open to everything. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. Think about a child going to elementary school. You can see that. They're just like little sponges. They're open to everything. They don't have anything figured out yet. They're just wide open, and they're usually delighted to learn. They're joy-filled. I teach dance kids that are between 8 and 12, and still at that age, they're like hungry to learn. Teach me. And in the expert's mind, there are few. Not meaning that it's not okay to be an expert about something, but if you are an expert in something, stay open, as opposed to thinking that you already know it all. Because if we have it all figured out, nothing else can come in there. That's what this quote is saying, and I just absolutely love it. It reminds me to check myself. When I think I know everything about a subject, which is really very rare, but if I think I know everything about a subject, it's really tempting to just shut off. Oh yeah, I already know that. Oh yeah, I got that, I already know that. But if you've ever been around a know-it-all, do you like it? No. I don't like being around people who think they know it all or have every answer. It's like, really? Okay. Well, but I get to check even my trigger about that. Because sometimes we want to think, I got this, I know it all. But it's so limiting is what this Buddhist quote is reminding us. It's limiting to think that we know it all. It's much more expensive to think that there's more. There's always more to learn if you're willing. No matter how much you know a subject, there's always more to know if you're willing. I'm looking back there at Mary Sampson, and I know that this beautiful scientist woman back here is always coming up to me and saying, ooh, 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 there's a new thing they're discovering. Ooh, there's a new, she's like, she knows a lot about science, but she's always telling me about the new breakthroughs and the new ways of looking at things. And that's great. That's an open mind. You're an expert, and you're open to everything. And that's what we're talking about here. So that's just the general idea. That's my inspiration. So let's apply it now to people. Because this is where the rubber really hits the road. What about the people that don't think, believe, or act like you do? And now we're asking you to stay open to them. It's challenging to stay open to the people who don't think, believe, and act like we do. Isn't it? It is challenging. If we're really honest with ourselves, we think of ourselves as open-minded people. Here's the really where it gets me. Sometimes I want that person to be more open-minded. Why can't you just be more open-minded? But who's not being open-minded if I close the door to that person? You know, looking in the mirror for ourselves is like the hardest piece of work to do in this philosophy. You ever catch yourself on that one? You want something, why can't you be more like this? And I've just shut down to you because you're not more like that. And I'm the one who's stuck. And I'm the one who shut myself down. I'm the one who didn't stay open. You just check it out. Laugh at yourself. One of the things that helps me a whole lot when I'm feeling challenged is something that I hear Brene Brown say a lot. And she says, stay curious. Stay curious. Oh, that's so helpful. It doesn't mean I have to agree with somebody who doesn't think like me, but I can stay curious. Boy, that's certainly helpful. Huh. Tell me why you think that way. Tell me what's your point of view behind what you just said. And depending on the relationship, some people we're not going to invest that much time and energy in, but some people we are. Stay curious helps me chill out, helps me not get as upset about what somebody else thinks, says, believes, or does. Just stay curious. And when we're willing to ask somebody, well, what did you mean? Without, well, what did you mean? What did you mean? Body language, tone of voice has everything to do with it. Well, what did you mean? Or just questioning it. What's your point of view? How many of you have read The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz? If every hand is not up in the room, I suggest that you get the book. It's a really simple, little, easy book. And the second and third agreement are, don't take anything personal and don't make assumptions. It plays out here. Stay curious, ask the question. I would much rather have somebody come to me and say, Sean, when you said such and such, what did you mean by that? Because if that person misinterpreted me, I'd rather have the opportunity to explain it. I'd rather have the opportunity for that person to stay open to me, and I then, we stay open to each other. So stay curious. What about staying open to the greater possibility for your life? When we're young, we have dreams. Somewhere along the line, along the ways it happens with little kids, people thwart those dreams. It's too bad. Oh, well, honey, you're not going to grow up to be a singer because, you can't sing. Those dreams get thwarted. You're not going to grow up to be the president because, well, whatever. You're a girl. There's all kinds of things that we thwart little kids' dreams. They're still in there, however. So what about staying open to the greater possibilities of our life? If you have a dream inside of you that feels like it's gotten buried, maybe it's time to bring it back out. Maybe it's time to believe that something is possible. Maybe it's time to stay open to something new and not shut down because we think we've already figured it out or think we're too old to start over. I know there's a lot of people, oh, well, I'm not going to bother to learn that or go back to school or take these classes because, well, I'm too old. Never. We're never too old to open up to greater possibilities. What about greater possibilities for life on our planet? Right now there's a lot of turmoil, a lot of people are shaken up, but we can still stay open to the greater possibilities. Not every little detail of what's happening that we don't like. We pray for peace around here. We do our January 1st peace meditation, and sometimes we do one in September. Staying open to peace. I have people who tell me, oh, that is never going to happen. Oh, well, thank you for making sure it isn't. We need to stay open to greater possibilities. Stay open to what's possible. Sounds easy. The rubber hits the road when we come across those things that really trigger us. It's still true nonetheless. Stay open to our planet. Thomas Edison said, when you exhaust all possibilities, remember this. You haven't. When you exhaust all possibilities, remember this. It just reminded me of a story. I wasn't even planning to tell this, but a story of a little boy out in front trying to move a rock out in their front yard because the family was getting ready to do some landscaping. And the boy was trying to move this rock with his arms. He got a shovel and he was trying and he was digging around the rock, all kinds of ways. He was exhausting those possibilities. And the father was watching from inside the house and looking out the window and watching his son, trying and trying and trying and trying lots of possibilities, being very creative. So the father comes out and he says, son, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm trying to move this rock, but I can't. Well, have you tried everything? And the little boy says, yes. So the father says, well, no, you haven't. The son says, what do you mean? I tried this, and I tried this, and I tried this. And the father said, you haven't tried asking me for help. When you think you've exhausted all possibilities, remember this. You haven't. There's always another possibility. for my own personal life, for your own personal life, for the life on our planet. We say this very audacious thing around here. Spirit is limitless potential. Do we dare to believe that that's truth? Oh, yes, I know you do. Spirit is limitless potential. But then when it comes down to things being difficult, we say, oh yeah, well, yeah, spirit's limitless potential, but maybe not for me. We question, we doubt. Everybody does. Maybe not Pat Sanchez. Yeah. No, I know you believe it, because even when it hits the road, even when things get tough, you still dare to believe it anyway. It's a big, hairy, audacious thing to think about. Anything that we can dream, we can become. You've heard it before. Spirit is limitless. There's no God out there saying you can't. No, you can't achieve that. That's impossible. We say there's nothing impossible to the divine. So are we living that in our own life, in our own attempts at things, in our own willingness to stay open and learn something new? Big, hairy, audacious thing. We have access to it every second, every day. Guess who has to remember? We do. Well, that's where the hard part comes in, because we're the ones who have to do the work. That's why we say in our vision statement, we transform our own lives. Doesn't mean we're alone. Doesn't mean I have to transform my own life and I'm all alone here like a little boy digging up the rock. I can ask for help. Doesn't mean I'm alone. I transform my own life. It means I have choice. It means I have choice. I have potentiality to be whatever I want to be. Transform our own lives. Good. No limitation. We go for it in whatever way is right for all of us. Let's go for it. So talking about this kind of stuff sounds really easy, and a lot of you nod your head. But as I say every single week, pretty much, because this is where it is for me as well. We can talk about it, we can say, yep, I got that, that's easy. And then the minute the big challenging thing knocks us on our tush, and we go, oh, now what? Or we find ourselves stuck in anger, or we find ourselves stuck in fear, or doubt, or uncertainty, or not enoughness, or unworthiness, and all those things that start to weigh us down. That's when staying open can be challenging. For me, if I sit quietly in my house, even if just for a couple of minutes, and center myself in that all truth, that right here within me is that power. When I take that time, it becomes easier to remain open to the things that seem to be kicking my butt. How can I stay open because that hurts too much? How can I stay open because that angers me too much? When I'm anchored here, whatever else is going on out here, the challenge lessens. And I can stay open in this inward place because this is about me and the divine. It's not about what anybody else is or isn't doing or thinking. It's not about somebody else thwarting my dreams. None of that touches me in that moment. So spending that time in quiet and in anchoring who I am goes so far in helping us remain open. So I would like to do that with you. I'd like to practice with you. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And so as we always do, if you will begin by breathing deeply. I can hear in the room most of you are already doing that. But if you're not, consciously do that. Consciously breathe in and breathe out. It is one of the best here and now things that I know of. Breath. As we breathe, we allow everything to just relax. And we can ask our inner eyes, our inner imagination to open up. So imagine that in some way, shape, or form, that your inner eyes opened, or your inner imagination, your inner powers of visualization just opened up. And then just check in with your heart without any judgment. Ask yourself, how well do I listen and observe? No judgment. That's the opposite of know-it-all. Observing, listening, learning. How well do I listen and observe? Just notice. If there's something in you that says, I would like to do that more, then just make an inner commitment. Something like, today I listen and observe better than I ever have before. Check in with yourself. Are there any areas in my life where I'm acting like a know-it-all? No judgment, just check. If you find those places and you want to change that, make some kind of an inner commitment. I don't have to know it all. Something within me does, whenever I need it. Check the relationships in your life and ask yourself, are there people that I've shut down to? For any reason at all. Maybe they hurt you. Maybe they think so differently than you that it's just hard to be around them. Are there people that I've shut down to? You can have your own validation and your own reasons, but just notice. If you would like to change that, you can say something inside, something like, I don't have to agree, but I can stay curious. I don't have to like it, but I can stay open because I'm anchored in love. Feel inside of yourself, is there an inner voice calling you to something greater? Some dream that has been buried? Some idea that you have that you're afraid that people might laugh at you? Or family is telling you, can't do that. Check in. Is there some dream or some inner voice calling you to something new? Perhaps something you're already doing, but it's wanting to expand. Just feel. If you identify any areas that you say, oh yeah, that right there, make an inner commitment to expand it, regardless of what anybody else may say. Today I'm willing to stay open and let this expand in my experience. Or today I'm willing to take the first baby step toward that dream. Then just in general in your life, ask yourself, if I was to stay curious, how might I do something different? Let whatever part of your life needs to answer that pop up in your mind. If I was to stay curious, how might I do something different? This one comes with a lot of choice because we can choose to do nothing different. We can choose to do something different. So we can make that inner commitment. I'm going to stay curious and see where that takes me. Staying curious and staying open are the same idea. Breathing deeply with all these questions on the inside, knowing you can change them anytime you want because we can transform our lives. Let us remember who we are. Let us remember who we are. And in this space now I'm going to move into our final treatment. And as always, I would begin by remembering what life is. Life, God, Source, Presence, all synonymous. That one power, that one presence is all there is. It is love because it gives of itself. It is creative. I look around and I see the evidence. It is joy. It is power and presence. And I know where it is. Right here within me. Surrounding me, yes. Indwelling me, yes. No place where I end and it starts, or no place where it ends and I start. One. One power. One presence. One love. One creativity. Not it and me, one thing. And so I remember at the deepest core of my being who I am. And I know from this place that I can achieve whatever I set my mind to. Whatever I know is true of me, I know is true of all of us. There's only oneness. It's true of all of us. That same power that I feel is at the disposal of all of us. We have been given it as our natural God-given thing. To think, to choose, to transform, to renew, to uplift, to love, to laugh, to be joyful. And so I know for each of us today that any of the inner callings that are telling us, here's a place to stay open, that we hear it, we heed it, we listen, we observe, and we take whatever actions are perfect for us. I know that each one of us is on this beautiful journey called life. And I know each one of us is guided from the inside. And I know each one of us knows exactly what is right for us. And so I claim that we have the courage to take those steps today. We have the courage, and we have all of the inner wisdom that we need. And so claiming this for us, I give thanks that it's already true in divine mind. It is already true. And ours is to continue to stay open. And so with gratitude, I release this prayer into the spiritual law that can only say yes. I let go, and I let God. And so it is.